Rotate your phone.
Rotate your phone. You can't turn your phone while recording.
It's good. Isn't that the best way it should be?
I think so. And
Are we live?
And once again,
I hope we're not up. Will you check it to make sure, studio audience, we're not upside down? Facebook Live.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, somebody. Oh, look, we do have 35 people who've jumped on, so I do think we're sideways. So we do need to go the other way.
Okay.
And once again, the Dan
This
and
is
Cindy
Dan and
show
Cindy
is...
show. We need to go. Need to go vertical.
Yes.
This won't hold it vertical.
Yeah.
No. It,
This way, why not?
It should. Okay, give us a moment. I should. Let's bear with us. We'll just kind of.
Oh,
hey,
this is our worst nightmare.
Lenny Perry is recording this right now.
This is our worst nightmare.
He's recording it. It's Don's brother.
Will that go that way?
That's actually really good. You're sideways. Okay.
Now I'm sideways?
No, I'm.
Now you're not.
I was just reading the comments. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Now I'm going to need to readjust.
Now.
Sit down. Let me get you in there. Have a seat, love. Pop that up there.
Oh, gosh. Which is exactly why we feel this little cast, video cast, podcast, whatever it's called. Now we're just like half and half.
Yes.
We're not both on the screen.
I know.
We have 1,000 people who are watching right now.
I love this. Okay.
We're not
We'll
going to
lean in.
keep you more than like 20 minutes, okay? But hi, look, we've got it's
This is-
Dayla said hey.
Hey, can everybody see us? Are we right side up now, everybody out there?
Yeah, give us a thumbs up.
Send us some
now
thumbs
you're
up.
good. Okay, thank you, Margaret.
Okay, great.
Hi.
Well, let's get started. Are we?
Well, let's give everybody just a couple minutes
to get going.
Hey, tell you youngers,
I'm going to
tell
bring
your
it down
parents.
just a little bit. Keep
Maybe.
talking. Keep talking.
You know your brother Lenny, who is like double doctor, smart techie guy, is watching us right now
love it.
and recording it. So
I love it.
anyway, hi everybody. So welcome. We got people from everywhere. Let's see.
better?
Mackinac, yes, I'm coming to
we
Mackinac
love
this
Mackinac.
year.
Mackinac.
No, it's not Mackinac.
I know,
It's
but
Mackinac. We're coming there the end of this year, God willing, and all is done. We just thought it's just time. Oh, Pippin got in the shot.
Oh, did he? Where's Pip?
Hey, show them our studio audience.
Well, okay.
We actually have a studio audience. How do you have so many different pairs of glasses? That's a very good question.
Ready for studio audience?
Don is showing that.
There's our
I'll tell
studio
you.
audience tonight for.
Look, there's our studio audience. They are 6 feet away from us. And we just sat 6 feet away and
Are you
just
in there?
visited a little bit, and it was awesome.
Okay.
I actually get my glasses very, very cheap online at Zenny Optical. So thank you for asking. They're super cheap, and I like fun colors. So we got Portland, Oregon.
I love
Look at this.
I love it. Well, everybody's.
Yeah,
You know, we
let's-
thought welcome to if there would. We
Official.
thought if there was a pilot, this would be the pilot for Dan and Cindy.
How about that? Hi, Leanne.
It's awesome. So, you know, maybe we should talk about in a pilot,
Yeah.
how did Don and Sandy get started calling each other Dan and Cindy?
Why, Dan? I think that's a fabulous
Well,
question.
Cindy, I think I'll tell her.
So,
But,
and must
wasn't it-
be said in the Thurston Howell, the
Thurston
third
Howell,
voice,
loving.
right?
Loving.
Okay.
Love Cindy.
So, a couple of years ago, actually, I don't know if you have the same story, but
go ahead,
a
Cindy.
couple of years, thank you, Dan.
Why let the truth get in the way of a good story?
I
Cindy?
always say.
Loving. Okay.
So, guys, we were part of a big choir banquet that we did at our church, Crossings Community Church, and we were asked to do some hosting and to announce some winners,
hosting,
like
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, kinda like
and
the Oscars.
And so I said, oh yeah, it was exactly like the
Name drop.
Oscars.
Such a name dropper.
Whatever.
Okay.
Have you ever been to the Oscars?
Now, have you?
No, I have not.
Oh, I was expecting.
No,
well,
Dan, I
yeah.
have not.
Well, I was on the front row.
So while we thought, you know, we need to kind of develop like a, you know, radio announcer voice. And I just kind of said, what do you think, Dan? And he goes, I don't know, Cindy.
Well,
and
Cindy, I
so
don't know.
we both, that's just sort of where Dan and Cindy came from. But for me, it has to be Cindy with an I.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's Sandy with an
Okay.
I. But is that the story
Well,
that you
I
think?
thought it got started out here, but I think what I'm
Because
thinking
we are
about
in our backyard right now,
is
right?
sort of like tonight started when it said you're sideways, and we spent 20 minutes looking at my neatly pressed pocket.
Oh.
I thought that was the beginning of Dan and City, but that was the first connection you folks made with our technical prowess that we are really but we're working on it.
Uh-huh.
And-
But we feel like, you know, we're kind of in this season of empty nesting, and so we kind of thought it'd be fun to come to you all every Saturday night.
Well, yeah, Saturdays.
And do that at sunset, wherever Dan and Cindy may be, which
That's-
is probably Oklahoma for the next couple months.
Right, but you'll have to tune in to
Yes.
find out where in the world. Isn't that Carmen Sandiego? But,
It is.
But
where in the world are
Dan
and
and
Cindy?
Cindy.
But I know you have a special thing about sunsets.
Why don't you go ahead and tell me?
Oh, okay. I do love sunsets, but not for the reason that everybody likes sunsets. I like after the sunset, when the sun goes down and just for a moment it's dark, and then the sun starts lighting up the rest of the sky. The backsplash, to me, is more beautiful than the sunset, which is always breathtaking. That's why I like it. Why do you like
well,
it?
you know what? Sunsets have always been a time for me. I just love to sit and reflect, whether it's at the beach, whether it's, believe it or not, in Oklahoma. Oklahoma has some of the best sunsets.
Some of the best, absolutely.
And they call it our kind of like our extra parents were Phil and Betty Fair, and Betty always called it a buttermilk sky.
Buttermilk sky.
Buttermilk sky. But one of the reasons I love sunsets, my dad, we had found my birth father, and it's a whole another story. That's another night for Dan and Cindy. But we brought him home to Indiana to meet the family. He came into the house, met everybody. It was really just an awesome, you know, and the sun was, I just looked through our kitchen,
I will
and the
never forget that
sun was
moment.
just, me either, starting to set. And I said, Dad, come here. And we just met, you know, we talked on the phone, we connected, but this was our first. And I put my arm around him. We went and looked out the window. I said, this is one of my favorite times of the day. And he turned to me, and there was a tear running down his eye.
Sweet.
He said, mine too, son. So
So-
sunsets, anyway, there you go.
Yeah. But you
Mushy
know,
sunsets with Dan and Cindy.
But you know what? Sunsets can have another meaning too.
Yes.
And sunsets can be literal, or it can be figuratively. And we're kind of finding that, you know, now in our 60s, we are in the sunset of our years. And can I be honest? It's the backsplash, and it's awesome.
I mean, hey, we're going to redefine it. Matter of
Yeah,
fact, well,
yeah.
you know what? That kind of brings me to.
Yeah, I'll hold this while you.
You know what?
get-
We're going to try to bring you each week some news, some updates. We're going to bring you some fun facts. And one of my favorite things to read is this, the good old fashioned. I don't know if you guys even know what this is. It's a Farmer's Almanac.
I'm reading Suzanne Stabile about the Enneagram, and he's reading the Farmer's Almanac. That's just is all you need to know right
You can
there.
get the boy out of West Virginia, but you can't get the West Virginia out of the boy.
But you did read some incredibly interesting
all
things.
the interesting things, one of the buzzwords, they have the whole front talks about 2020 trends. And one of the trends that's going on now, the buzzwords, you know, folks that are going to retire or folks our age in that sunset, get this, pre-tirees.
Oh, wait, say that. Not retirees.
But listen, people who leave the traditional workforce or the office, but they may work at home, they may work in an RV somewhere around the country. Oh, there's an idea.
There's an idea.
They may work other places. They've not stopped working, but they're... Well, Sand, what do you got there?
Well, it's my favorite drink.
Okay.
It's Diet Dr. Pepper.
And where'd you get that?
Sonic.
I know it. And, well, since she's got that, I'll just go with my ocean water.
Well, this moment brought to you by, well, us, because
Yes.
we paid for these, but we sure do love our Sonic.
I mean, I'm telling you, Diet Dr. Pepper, Diet Cherry, Diet Ocean Water. That's delish. But so, folks,
Sorry, Dan.
folks who leave the traditional workforce but work at home or still stay busy, and that's what we, you know what, there's not a, even though we're both sitting in rocking chairs at this time, there's not a thing in either one of us that wants to slow down right now, right?
Exactly.
A friend of ours in healthcare, what does he call?
He calls
age
our
group.
generation silver tsunami. And I suppose that would be true for me if I would stop coloring up the silver. But
Well, look,
the silver
it's-
tsunami, because
it's
honestly,
happening. It's happening pretty.
we are the largest,
Yes.
smartest,
Yes.
physically active,
Yes.
intellectually engaged
Well, that's your
generation.
But the
No.
boomers, the boomers, and we're all
No.
moving towards this age with not an ounce of slowdown in any of us. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think you're going to see healthier, and what
Yes.
I really like what Proverbs, what Solomon says, in living well. That's what we hope to do. So we'll have a moment like that each week where we bring you something to talk about living well or a little nugget.
Now, we
with
want
that.
you to help us, if you will, and we're going to come to you around this same time, be watching, we'll announce it, because you know, sunsets change, and there'll be different times. So we'll try to give you some fair warning, but kind of keep the slot for us on Saturday night, just 20 minutes, not even a long time.
Well, tell them those
and
30.
find us
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Well, listen, especially if you're 30, 40,
Yeah.
out there, you're
Tell
in your
your
30s.
parents.
Right. And you may have to do more than tell them.
Yes.
You may have to do some explaining, text them some photos, but tell them, help them find us. Tell them where to find us on Facebook
Yeah.
and Instagram.
So right now, find us for the Dan and Cindy hour, or not hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
On Sandi Patty Facebook. We'll be there until we, you know, I don't know if we'll think about doing the Dan and Cindy Facebook, but for right now, go to Sandi Patty on Facebook. And really, we do want, if you have parents our age, engage them, because we got stuff that we found out we want to just
Yes.
pass along. You can also find me on Instagram at Sandi Patty P, because apparently the Sandi Patty was already taken on Instagram. I
Go
don't
figure.
understand. But so Sandi Patty P on Instagram, and on Twitter is the same, Sandi Patty P. And where can we find you?
Well, you can find Don Peslis, Peslis, on Facebook. Excuse me. And you can also find me on Instagram. But I got to thank Sandy for the name, because when I was in character education, all the kids in school would say, Mr. Don, Mr. Don.
That was the
well,
best.
And she just added a,
Rev.
so it's Rev, R-E-V, Mista, M-I-S-T-A, Don, on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you know what? I tend to like, Facebook is a great place, which you see, it's a great platform for sometimes a lot of text, sometimes pictures, both. But some days a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I really like Instagram a lot, because you can put a post, and I'll do daily inspirational,
Yep.
just a bullet, just to give you a little bit of something for your
You're
day.
much better at the consistent daily. But here's
Well-
something you can, if you're our generation, you can tell your kids. You can say, hey, you guys know Instagram and Facebook owns Instagram, right? You know they're the same.
Right.
And they'll go, what? How do you know
do you
that?
know this?
You'll be very smart with your kids.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm seeing some questions go by here. And yes, we are feeling really well.
Give them a COVID. Let's take one
So
little COVID.
COVID.
How are we on
and
time?
We're
okay?
doing good.
Let's take
So
a COVID update.
It has been a rough March, all of March, for the most part.
Yeah.
And then recovery was April, because even though we were over
March
the
was about
symptoms,
2 weeks when it hit. Yeah.
we were still so exhausted and so tired, but we didn't have the symptoms. And so I had tested positive for COVID on March the 17th. Because there weren't enough tests, Don did not test at that time, but they just assumed he
They did,
was.
right.
But we both, just in the last 2 or 3 days,
Yes.
were able
Monday.
to get an antibody test, which they've now started coming here in Oklahoma. And we were able to see that, yes, we had it, yes, we fought it, and we have antibodies for
Yes.
it. And we are good, at least for this season. We know it's not a free
Right.
pass.
Yeah.
We know that.
I mean, our studio guests are still wearing their masks over there,
And
so we're
6 feet away.
6 feet away. You know,
But so thank you for asking, and we know that many of you are still struggling with it.
Yes.
And we want you to just hang in there, because we hope that you can look at our faces and
we can give them
give you
encouragement.
some encouragement. So one of the things that has been an encouragement, and we just kind of want to close with this thought, is for a few years, you suggested one night, it's been several years,
Yeah.
that we always pray for our family, but you kind of said, let's get more intentional. So we began to say the Lord's Prayer together every night. Sometimes we'd say it to ourselves. I'm not trying to paint these beautiful couple moments of that, no. But we would be intentional about at least talking about it. And as we would say the words, our Father, we'd start with our, because that's really the first takeaway is the first word. He is our Father. And so we began really intentionally saying our. who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, and you take this next part.
Thy will be done. And we would pause to say, and we'd start sometimes in Anna and Colin and Thatcher and Maddie, and now little CT, Carden,
Yes.
and in John and Rachel and new little Jack, and then
Jen.
Donnie and Jen and Scott. So anyway, we'd go in their
And now
lives.
we better just say the whole family because
Whole family.
they're going to be left out.
Okay, Jen and
and
Scott
and
Aiden and Eliza,
Donnie, and Katie, and Penny Dog,
Allie and Will,
new baby Nora,
but they've also got Winnie,
and Winnie,
Miss Erin, who's in Florida,
Yes.
our Missy, and then Sam and Carly,
and a new baby in October. So
that's
and
it. Yes, well, and Molly.
When we don't write it down, this is the trouble we get in. Do you guys have that same?
Molly.
I'm sorry. And Molly, who is kicking butt right now.
Yes, she is. Her first
Going
year
to
pre-nursing.
school
First year
online.
pre-nursing. Yes.
She has a huge final on Wednesday.
Prayer request.
Just pray for her.
Next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, physiology.
But we say all of that.
All those names.
Now we're in so much more trouble
There
than
we
if
are.
we
I
just
know,
never
but
said
that's
names.
okay. It's a Dan and Cindy
Okay.
moment. Brought to you by. I just need to refresh.
Yes, let's just.
Okay. Okay. So we're back. But in
Thy will be done.
in their lives as it is in heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you'd say, go ahead, give us
and
this
then
day.
give us this day.
This day.
Because you know what? So often we can think, God, I want this in the future, or why didn't you do this yesterday? But we don't have any control over that. And honestly, we don't have any control over today,
Right.
except the assurance that God will give us this day. So then after we say, on earth as it is in heaven,
Yes.
give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And then you like to say,
I like to say, so the next phrase is, and lead us not into temptation, but I always have felt there's a comma missing. And lead us, comma, not into temptation,
yeah,
but deliver us from evil. And then, of course, the reason that we get up every morning.
for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. And all God's people sit together. Amen. The ancients practiced a practice called breath prayers. And the early church fathers would just, and I think that's what Paul meant when he said pray without ceasing, was just to, and try this week. We'll see how this do when this goes this week. Then maybe next week when we jump back in, you can tell us how it went. But let that be a breath prayer. Our Father, all through your day.
And you don't have to say the whole
Our Father,
thing.
who art in heaven. Just
Our
what
Father, who art in
hallowed be
heaven.
thy name. Thy kingdom come. What comes to your mind, let that be your breath prayer. And the prayer, the Holy Father will stay in your and it says so often, what comes out of the mouth is so tied
born
to
out of
what's
the heart.
to the heart. So give that a try this week.
You guys, thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you each week. We want to kind of share with you from our generation's perspective something that's practical, something that's educational, and something that is inspirational. And so do us a favor, and if you're in our generation or you have your parents or family, tell them to find us next week, because we really look forward to just sharing this beautiful sunset season with you. Bye, everybody.
Good night. God bless. We'll see you next week.
Now you have to go.
Okay, we turn it off here.
I
You want to
can't.
turn
You
it
have
off
to
there?
turn it off.
Okay, where's the button up there?
It says finish.
Where's that? Oh, I
On the
see
very
it.
bottom.
Okay, we're just still working.
Bye, Dan and Cindy.
Dan and Cindy moment.
Bye.